In this video, I'm going to show you some shortcuts to make your blogging experience on Squarespace a little quicker and easier. I'm also going to show you how to get your blog post working for you and discuss some important Squarespace SEO features that must not be overlooked before you publish a blog post. Here I am in the back end of Squarespace, and here are 3 blog posts. To create a new blog post, I'm just going to duplicate a previous blog post and essentially use it as a template for the new one. But before I do that, I want to consider the content and format of the blog post that I want to write and choose a previous blog post that most closely resembles that. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to click the 3 dots and select duplicate. So now I have a copy. I'm going to open this up and show you a feature that I've added to my blog that I really like, and it's a sidebar. And it's this over here. Squarespace 7.0 used to have a few templates that actually had sidebars that you could add right into the website, but 7.1 does not. But it's not really a big deal because you can just create your own. And every time you create a new blog post, if you're just copying an old blog post and using it as a template, then the sidebar is going to copy over as well. Something I really like about sidebars is it kind of reminds me of the good old days when we used to actually read magazines, which was what I did when I was growing up. And I really find that sidebars really draw your eye in. And it's a really good place to advertise some of your services because think about it. People are landing on your website on a blog post. They weren't necessarily searching for your business. They were searching for the content of your blog post. They might have been searching something really specific that you're actually talking about in a blog post. So they land on your website to read your blog post. But now that they're on your website, you have a captive audience. So don't waste it. Don't waste the opportunity. Put some stuff in your blog post, advertising your services, encouraging people to subscribe, maybe connecting over to your Instagram account. You get it. So now that you have your template, we're just going to edit it. First thing you want to do is use a highly searchable blog post title. I actually use a third-party app to rate my blog post titles, and I talk about that in another blog post. I'll include the link below this video. All you have to do now is replace the images and the text. One thing I advise is to chunk your text. Remember, people are skimming. Blogs are the place where you want to write long form and try to use as many keywords as possible. A keyword is a word or a phrase that people would be typing into search engines in order to find what they're looking for. You know more about your business than anybody, so keep that in mind when you're writing your blog post. Try to use words or phrases that you think that your potential customers might be using to try to find you online. Or take it to the next level and hire an SEO expert to actually do some keyword searching and mapping for you. It really works. In addition to chunking your text, break out some subheadings, specific categories perhaps that you want your reader to be drawn to, and then encourage feedback from your readers. Ask some poignant questions, and don't be afraid to ask your readers for advice too. This is a great way to find out what your ideal client wants to learn from you, and it gives you ideas for future blog posts. Link to other similar blog posts. This is a great way to keep users on your website longer. This is one way to do it, but you can also link within the context of your blog post itself. Squarespace has this great feature. You can link to your Instagram account and it stays constantly updated. This is great because it keeps your web content fresh and it adds a nice graphic element as well. Not to mention, they can just click right over to your Instagram account from here and start following you. Include a place in your blog posts for people to subscribe. Do this in every blog post. Here I have it in the sidebar. One way to get people to subscribe is to give them something free in return. Make sure it's something that has value to your ideal client. It's a great way to build trust with them. Now that you've completed your blog post, save it, and then head on over into settings. Under the Content tab, the first thing you're going to see is your featured image or thumbnail image. This is the image that's going to appear along with the excerpt on your blog landing page. You can use the same image that appears in the blog post itself, or you can use a different one. Oftentimes people put a graphic here. It's up to you. Choose an excerpt to appear alongside the thumbnail image on the blog landing page, if you wish. And don't forget to change the post URL. This is really important. You'll see that when you duplicate a blog post, it also duplicates the URL, but then it puts a bunch of random letters and numbers after it. You need to change this and replace it with the new blog post title. If you have more than one author or contributor on your website, just select this drop-down menu and select the correct contributor. Then head over into options. This is where you can choose tags and categories, and I have another blog post about that, and I will link to that below this video. I always toggle comments on because I think it's a good idea to encourage engagement with your readers. And if you think you might want a summary block containing featured posts to appear someplace else on your website, then toggle this on. I'm going to keep this as a draft for now and head on over to SEO. Here you can add an SEO title. This is optional. I never do this because whatever the title of my blog post is already searchable because I've already checked that. If you have to do this, then it means there's probably something wrong with your blog post title. So think about it. And I'll show you what I mean. If you were to type in a different title, it just overrides it, as you can see up here. But I'm not going to do that because I already have the perfect blog post title. So why change it? And then this is where you would write an SEO description. This is what will appear in searches, and it would also appear under your social sharing image if you were to share this on social media. So you really want it to entice your ideal client to read it. Use keywords here too. If you don't put in your own SEO description, then search engines are going to choose their own. And you don't want to do that. You always want to have as much control over how things appear as you possibly can. Then head on over to social image. And this is where you would add a social sharing image. So now I've added my social sharing image and I can see exactly how it's going to look if a link to my blog post is shared with anyone or posted to Facebook. In the Share tab, you can share directly to social media if you have a connected account, or you can create an email draft if you use Squarespace email campaigns. Heading back on over into options, I think I'm ready to publish this. So I'm going to select draft right here. The options are pretty self-explanatory. If there's anyone who has to have a look at this blog post before it actually gets published, you can select Needs Review. If you want to publish this blog post on a specific day at a specific time, you can schedule it. Usually what I do is I just publish it. I'm going to click Save, and now I can copy the URL and share it to my Facebook page or Twitter or LinkedIn. I can create a draft in email campaigns if I use Squarespace email campaigns. Or if I find this pop-up window annoying, I can just select Don't Ask Me Again. One last thing you should do when you set up your blog is check the blogging settings, which can be found under Settings and Blogging. I always check these boxes, and then if you go into Comment Settings, you're probably going to see this. Check this, and now people can leave comments. If you want to moderate comments before they show up, then just check this circle right here. If you're curious about the comments, you can go back to the Home panel and select Comments, and this is where they're displayed. So here we are on the blog landing page, and you can see your new blog post. You should also have a subscription form on this page as well. On this website, I've put it at the bottom of the page. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a like and subscribe. Check out the cool links below the video, or head on over to my website and subscribe to my blog.